Hello again. I hope the sound's going to be okay on this today because it's a bit windy. I think we've got the tail end of hurricane, whatever it's called, is going in America. Anyway, this is a really quick one. A kind of review, but kind of not review, of a new toy I got, which is the Silky F180 pruning saw. I used to have the Bahco Laplander, which, to be honest, I never really got on with. I always found it bound up in wood, which I'm prepared to admit may have been just my crap technique. And I lent it to Mazza a week or two ago, and she promptly lost it, being Mazza. So I was going to buy another one, just because I think it's handy to always have a wee folding saw. And then I noticed Silky did a tiny saw. Well, they do quite a few tiny saws, but this one was only 27 quid, I think. And the Bahco Laplander's 22 quid, so it wasn't really that much difference. And I've got the big Silky Katana Boy 500, as you may have seen in one of my other videos, which I'll link to down there, just in case you want to watch it. And seeing as I really like that, and really like Silky saws, and have over the past couple of years really got into Japanese pull saws, I thought I'll go for the Silky. And I've used it all of twice yesterday as a bit of a test. And as you can see, it's got quite aggressive teeth on it. It is a pull saw, so it'll only cut in one direction. But one of the things that kind of bugged me, that was the review bit, by the way. Great, wasn't it? I mean, it's just a folding Silky saw. You can kind of imagine the quality of it. So I was watching a few video comparisons of people testing various folding saws, and one thing that started to irk me after a while was people who have set themselves up as some kind of bushcraft expert, quick save Ray Mears, were kind of panning the Silky compared to the Bahco Laplander, because they're saying this cuts quite well, but it's crap because the blade just bends and snaps, and people in the comments were going, yeah, I've snapped mine, I've broke mine as well. As if, like, if you slightly flex the blade it's going to snap. It's not. Okay, it's not going to snap if the blade flexes, but it will snap if you bend it at a 90-degree angle, because it's more brittle than the steel on the Bahco Laplander. The Bahco Laplander is, you can bend the blade right round and it won't break, but I just find that it's not a very good saw for cutting wood with. Not for the way I cut anyway. I just find it binds up all the time, whereas your Silky cuts through wood completely effortlessly if you use it properly. But one of the things I noticed on all these videos from these supposed bushcraft experts was, even with my limited experience, I thought that's not how you use a pull saw. They're getting their Bahco Laplander out, which cuts in both directions, and they're going fast as they can through a piece of wood, and then they're getting the Japanese pull saw, the Silky, and they're going as fast as they can again, trying to get through the piece of wood. And it's not how you use a Japanese pull saw. Think Japanese, think Zen. They take an hour to make a cup of tea. Again, like I say, I'm not setting myself up as some kind of wild expert here. I've only been using pull saws myself for 2 or 3 years, but I did take the time when I first got one to learn how to use it properly. So if you come with me, I shall attempt to show you that now, and show you what the difference is between using a pull saw and hacking away with something like a Bahco Laplander or a normal folding saw. So let's go and find a bit of wood to cut. Can you see me? Do you want to see me? Right, that was quite tricky, trying to find some fallen timber that was in a sheltered place, because I don't want lots of wind noise on the mic, and also provided somewhere to stick my wee mini tripod. So I've actually clamped it onto the branch that I'm trying to cut here. The branch is, I'd say, that wide. Not sure how many centimetres that is, but it's going to the hole there. So I'll measure that when I get home and put it up on screen. Now, here beginneth the lesson. When I see people, I'm going to use this piece of stick for this actually because I don't want to knacker my saw. But when I see people demoing these and other saws on the interwebs, they'll get a bit of log and they'll go... You don't have to have the monkey face expressions, but it helps me get into the zone. But, you know, it's like... And then they'll go, oh, 12.2 seconds for that saw, and let's have another saw. Ooh, 11.3 seconds for that saw, so that one's better. And they try and do the same with all their saws, and of course they try and do that with a Japanese pool saw. And then on one video I saw, the guy's going, oh, it's crap because the blade snapped, and then he played it in slow motion of the blade snapping to show you how crap the saw was, and it actually jammed on a forward stroke. But because he was going so fast with so little control, it just bent that way, and then he pulled back and then bent the other way because he was still moving so fast he couldn't control it. And of course it snapped. So the thing with the Japanese pull saws is take your fecking time. It's not a race. It's not a kind of pissing contest with, oh, look how fast I can pump my arm. Like, you know, if you want to do that, have a wanking competition. But... And another thing I notice is that a lot of people will grip the pull saw in the same way that they'll grip the Laplander type folding saws that cut in both directions, and that is necessarily kind of going to make your hand want to go like this if you have an underhand grip round it, which is going to kind of dig it in on the push forward, which is doing nothing. With a pull saw, I find a better grip that works for me is a slightly overhand grip, so I'm almost like my hand is open at the bottom, and that naturally makes your wrist want to go that way as you're pushing forward, which is what you want to do anyway. With a pull saw, you want to be lifting on the forward stroke and then pulling down on the back stroke. So, money where mouth is time. I'm going to try and cut through this stick. Another thing I quite often do is put my finger along the top like that, and it's just kind of a wee link between finger and brain to remind me to press down when you pull back, lift up when you go forward. Okay, obviously I'm exaggerating here, but that's the kind of motion you want. Up, forward, down, back, up, forward, down, back. Because going that way, it's not doing anything at all. It's just, you want it to be just gliding back, ready for your next cut. So all that furious, turn it upside down so it doesn't catch you, all that furious kind of, look how fast I can saw, it's bollocks. It's not doing anything. Just take your time, and you won't be out of breath either when you finish, and you won't break your blade. So enough bollocks. Let's see how this goes. You might wobble about a bit because you're actually clamped on the same branch I'm cutting, but we'll see how it goes. Kick those bits out from under me, and I shall take it slow and easy and see if we can get through this subtitle again. How wide branches? It's fairly wide. So I'm really hardly putting any effort into this at all. Because another thing I notice with the guys that are doing the, look how many saw actions I can do in 1 second, is they always look really out of breath at the end of it as well. And go, oh, 9.3 seconds, that's a new world record. So yeah, you may get through your piece of wood in 9.3 seconds as opposed to somebody else doing it in 20 seconds, but You know, if you're so out of breath after that that you can't cut anymore, I don't see what the point is. So on the forward stroke here, I'm lifting the blade each time, not as exaggeratedly as when I demonstrated the technique, so to speak. And as I said at the beginning, I'm not claiming that I'm any kind of expert with these kind of saws, but I certainly wouldn't set myself up as some kind of crazy outdoor quick save Ray Mears type figure and then hack away with a Japanese pull saw and go, oh, these are rubbish because the blade catches or the blade snaps all the time. And here we go. I better get in and catch this in case you fly off into space. Obviously, if you weren't attached to the branch, I would just let it ping off. But there you go. That is a pretty substantial branch, which, okay, it took me more than 9.2 seconds to cut it off, but I was able to talk all the way through. I'm not remotely out of breath. The saw didn't bend or come close to bending once, and I'm ready to go and cut more, cut all day at that rate and that kind of technique. So don't write off the Silky saws or any Japanese pull saw for bushcrafty type stuff, and don't assume that everyone on the internet who calls themselves a bushcrafter or a wildcrafter or whatever actually knows what they're talking about. Least of all me, but I'm not making those claims. I'm just saying, with a bit of practice, Japanese pull saw will go through anything. It will leave you not out of breath, and somebody over the way may cut their stick or their tree trunk or their log or their branch in 4.7 seconds quicker than you and get 500 strokes in 3 seconds. Doesn't matter. Use the technique properly and it will be fine. So there you go. I hope I didn't come across as too much of a pompous prick there, but it's a bit difficult not to sometimes when you're trying to say, well, this is the way I do something, and you sound like you're setting yourself up as some kind of expert. But it just did kind of bug me that I kept seeing people writing these saws off, and I was thinking, you're not using it properly. So, you know, if you learn to use something properly and it turns out to be crap, fair enough, but when you're using something the wrong way and then you say it's crap, that's kind of a bit annoying. I'll take that any day over a Bahco Laplander and have no worries whatsoever about breaking the blade, because I'm not going to go at it like I'm on the vinegar strokes. Okay, enough pontificating. Time for me to go back to the ranch because I think it's nearly tea time. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.